So I want to tell you about a recent experience I had with Convoy. I had a load that was going to pick up in Mooresville, North Carolina at the Niagara water facility there. It was a experience in and of itself. Take my advice, if you're ever given a load coming out of that Niagara water plant in Mooresville, North Carolina, don't take it. I was supposed to pick up this load at 10 p.m. I sat there in a line waiting to get up to the gate so I could get checked in for over 2.5 hours. Once I got to the gate, I gave them my load number, my appointment number, that I was supposed to pick up this load that went to a Kroger grocery store in Powell, Tennessee. And it was only 2 pallets. That's what I was going to pick up. They told me to wait just a second. They came back, "Sir, could you repeat that appointment number?" So I gave it to them again. Yeah, so this load picks up tomorrow in Atlanta, Georgia at 2 in the afternoon. So not only did Convoy give me the wrong load and wrong load details, I'm in the wrong state. I had to leave the property and go call dispatch. So I call Convoy and they get this guy on the phone, and just like most of their people that handle their support line, he had a very thick accent. When he answered the phone, you could hear a rooster crowing in the back. Maybe he's sitting in a barn taking support calls for Convoy. But regardless, he was of absolutely no use whatsoever. He couldn't tell me anything to do other than go to a truck stop, go to the nearest truck stop and wait to be called. I played that game with Convoy before and they never called. So I asked to speak to a supervisor. He put me on hold, came back after about 5 minutes, and supervisor's not available. I said, "Well, I don't mind waiting, just leave me on hold and I'll wait for a supervisor, but I really want to talk to a supervisor." He wouldn't let me. At this point, I'm a little more than aggravated. So I pretty much told him he's a useless. Not worthless, useless. And I hung up the phone. So I contacted Dan Lewis, who was the co-founder and CEO. I sent him an email laying it all out. Not that I really expected Dan to do anything, but I did want to I wanted to document it. I wanted to make him aware of it. And I guess about a week later, he wrote me back. And to me at that time, it was a non-issue. I had already moved on. Well, then 2 or 3 days after Dan had contacted me, I got an email from Convoy Support. Convoy Support sent me that email, basically trying to make a big deal out of me telling that support representative that he was a useless, which he was. I wasn't lying. And they were trying to make a big deal of it and telling me that, they won't tolerate foul language being used with their representatives. They're here to help you, blah, blah, blah. And I wrote him back and I said, look, he was of absolutely zero help to me. But you still don't get the problem. Well, number one, because the ineptitude of the Convoy staff, who sends me on a load that doesn't exist. Then they want to add insult to injury, and the following day they send me a notice where the shipper had canceled the load, and they send me a whole $150 rather than focus on what's the core of the problem. Lack of attention to detail, lack of adequate communication. So they wanted to make a big deal out of it, and they threatened to discharge me as a carrier. Okay. Now, if that's the way you want to do it, fine, have at it. But if you want to get to the root of the problem, look beyond the bad word that I used with your guy and look at what the core problem is. So at Pro Driver Tools, we're working on devising fair and accurate system for scoring these brokers such as Convoy, and hope to have that pushed out and made available within the next 3 to 4 months. Things are about to begin to change in this industry. At Pro Driver Tools, we're working on some new tools that will provide some innovation in locating and booking loads, and can remove third parties. And what that's going to result in is higher rates for the small carriers, for the owner-operators, and lower shipping costs for the shippers. But I guess the purpose of this video is to not only tell you to, kind of be on your P's and Q's when you're working with Convoy. Don't let them bully you. They are not the only game in town when it comes to getting loads. There's plenty of opportunities out there with plenty of other brokers. You can get on the DAP board and have access to probably 200 brokers. If you're ever in a situation like that, try to look at the big picture and see what's the root cause, what created the problem to begin with, and then once the problem was there, what made it worse, and see if you can actually, number one, get through to them, but also see if you can begin to make a difference for yourself, because when you make a difference for yourself, you'll make a difference for others in this industry. Take a step back, think about it, take a breath, and look at the situation for what it is. What was the root cause of the problem? What precipitated the problem? What had made the problem become bigger than what it was or what it should be? And then move forward from there. I hope everyone stays safe on the road. Please keep an eye out for them, because they're not keeping an eye out for you. Be safe, be careful, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Convoy.